Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Cafe for Tea Time. I am hanging out with the one and only Darby Baham and Erica Cartledge, boys and girls. We are getting ready to have tea time talking about London Calling. I don't know about you guys, but I am super excited. I am ready for tea time. I'm ready to spill some tea about this amazing book. You guys know what I'm going to say. Stop what you're doing. Like, tag, and share. Tell everybody to come on down to the cafe. Join us for Angela's Literary Tea with author Darby Baham and our special guest hanging out with us on today, Erica Cartledge. And of course, before we get started, we're going to definitely introduce ourselves. We're going to tell you what we are rocking, what we are drinking on today before we get ready to spill the tea. Erica, we're going to start with you, my friend. Introduce yourself to the people.
Hello, everyone. My name is Erica Cartledge. First and foremost, I am a friend of Darby's. We go way back. So I'm so excited to be here. I'm also
Not that way back. We are very young.
I mean, way back to like we've known each other 20 years because we met at birth.
Yes.
I'm also a personal stylist and image architect. So I work with people to cultivate their confidence using fashion and style. And today I am rocking my I Am Not an Algorithm t-shirt.
Yeah.
Because I need to remind the algorithm, the internet's Mark Zuckerberg, that I'm not a number. I'm not an algorithm. I'm not a formula. I am a whole person. And I want to remind you all that you are whole people too. So that's what I'm wearing. I'm sipping on iced tea today because it's like 70 some degrees here in Maryland. And I was just like, I can't do the hot tea. I can't do it. So I've got iced tea and my Tired as a Mother mug, which is my favorite mug.
Okay.
And I'm so excited to be here.
I love that. And Erica, is that some shoes in the background?
So I'm a stylist. So you got it, when I'm talking to people on the shoes, the bags, all of that, because it's with my brands and everything. Darby's an author, she's got books. But yes,
look,
I'm a stylist.
Erica,
Yes,
you are all right,
collection.
My friend. Because first of all, in addition to being a book nerd again, I am a shoe lover. So of course my attention went to the shoes. Yes. So you are all right with me, my friend.
I love it.
Look, and I'm sure with you, Erica, of course, guys, all the shoe references I was so here for. Okay, we're going to talk about that too. Yes. Darby, can you introduce yourself to the people, my friend? Tell us what you're wearing, what you're drinking today.
Yes, thank you. First of all, I just want to say there's a reason that Erica and I are good friends because we have that love of shoes. So there you go. But Angela, thank you for having me today. This is, I think, our third time. So really excited.
Yes.
What's the phrase that they say? Like third time's the charm.
Third time's the charm. Hey.
Yeah. So very excited. I am author Darby Baham, author of the Friendship Chronicles series with Harlequin Special Edition, and the third book in the Friendship Chronicles series being London Calling, which came out September 27th. So I guess maybe a little bit over a month ago. So very excited for that. I am rocking a shirt that I saw it on Etsy and I just thought it was really, really funny. And it's also a reminder to myself, sort of like Erica's reminder. And it says, I'm going to try to show y'all. It says, look at me becoming an author. And,
Okay. Okay. Go, Darby. Yes.
And I still think of myself sort of as a debut author, even though this is the third book that's come out. It's all been in the same year. So a lot of times I have to remind myself, like, I'm not trying to become an author. I am an author at this point.
Yes.
So the shirt is a funny reminder to me for that. And then I am drinking some chai with a little bit of almond vanilla creamer in a mug that one of my besties gave me, I think maybe for Christmas. I don't know. I get a lot of mugs because I drink a lot of coffee and tea. And this one says, I write, what is your superpower? So that's
love that. I love that. And of course, boys and girls, I am Angela Anderson of Angela's Literary Tea, hanging out with you guys. And because, y'all know London is a boss. So I am rocking my Book a Boss, a t-shirt with a little bit of bling in there as well. And I am drinking hot lemon tea, of course, from one of my favorite bookish mugs. It's called Just a Girl Who Loves Books and Tea. So I think that that is very fitting for today as well, because we're having tea time with author Darby Baham. And look, Erica, I started to inbox you guys and say, hey, bring a cute pair of shoes, just because it's Darby, and now I know that you are a shoe lover as well. But you know what? We got our tea, we got our books, and we're getting ready to spill the tea. So, boys and girls, thank you so much for joining us on today. Of course, like I said, like, tag, and share. Tell a friend to come on down to the cafe as we get into London Calling. And so, Darby, before we get into our discussion, I want you to talk about this cover. And of course, guys, if you've read the book, there is a scene in there where she is describing, and you'll know exactly what this cover is all about when you read that in the book. But Darby, can you share with us about this amazing cover, which is awesome? It's definitely one of those covers that when you see it, it's like, okay, I want to read that.
Well, thank you. Well, one, I'm going to give my New York disclaimer, which I didn't give earlier. I live in New York, so you may hear ambulance sounds, bachata. Like, I don't know what you hear in the background. I know what I hear. So just as a heads up, don't be alarmed. For the cover, like you said, Angela, it really does. I was so excited when I got the cover from the Harlequin art team, because it really does describe almost to the T a scene where she first goes back to London. It was important for me to put that scene in the book because Robin is a character who had been to London many times. She would go there for work, but now she's going back to become a resident, for it to become her home.
Yeah.
And, if you visited a place a lot, it's completely different from when you move there. I know that's how I felt when I visited DC and then ended up moving to DC. When I visited New York a lot and then finally became a resident here, like, there's just something different about living there as opposed to being like, you're there for a short amount of time. And so that moment marks her, like, sort of like planting her flag, like, here I am. In the most millennial way, right? She's looking to take this picture to put on Instagram to be like, yeah, hello, London.
London, I'm here.
Ready to take it on.
Yes. And Erica, share with us. I know when Darby did the cover reveal, just like when she did the cover reveal of the Shoe Diaries, I almost lost my mind. You can ask her, Erica. I was like inboxing her. I was like, okay, who is this author that has this amazing cover talking about shoes? I'm a book nerd again. I'm a shoe lover. Okay, Darby, I'm in. I got to read this book. So, Erica, when you saw London Calling, what was your first reaction to this amazing cover?
Well, I was super excited, and I obviously saw the cover before I read the book, but I remember being in London, visiting there, living there, and I have a photo almost exactly like that photo, because you go, you find the phone booth, you're like, oh, let me get the perfect shot. And, I live there at the very beginning of like the cell phone photo era. So my picture, I think, is on Instagram, but it's like from way back when Instagram first started.
Yeah.
But I do remember that. So for me, I was like, oh, this is going to be a little bit of nostalgia. At this point, I'm in love with the characters. So I was just like, I was hyped. I was ready to go. But I was also just super excited because it felt also very relatable to me in my life and my experiences.
Yeah, and that is so cool. And I'm glad that you said that, because one of the things that I enjoy about this story, and Erica and Darby, definitely feel free to chime in here, is the descriptions. Like when you were in London, like I felt like I was in London. And the descriptions of, the streets and the scenery, the food. Of course, she talks about the shoes and the fashion of what London was wearing and all that good stuff too. But I love that part about the book, because I actually felt that I was there with her in the moment when she was going through those things as well. And some of the things we'll talk about are some of these dates that she went on as well. Erica, girl, some of them I was laughing. I was like, oh my goodness. And there were some moments in some of the dates I was like, oh no, he didn't. Well, we definitely gonna talk about that. I was like, really? Did Anyway, we're gonna get into that too. So thank you for sharing that with us too, Darby. What was that like? I guess it will go into what was the research like for you to be able to bring that across on the pages for us to feel like we was right there.
Well, I'm so glad that you said that. That is definitely one of my aims when I'm writing, any of my books, right? So for people who read the first two, like I want you to feel like you are in DC, like the DC scene. When they go to New Orleans, I want you to feel like you've gotten a little glimpse of what it seems like to go to a Mardi Gras ball in New Orleans, right? And so I didn't want to lose that when we moved this character Robin to London, and thankfully I have a number of friends who have lived in London for various portions of time, Erica
Yeah.
being one of them. So they allowed me to dig their brains and ask them tons and tons and tons of questions. I think I talked to at least 4 or 5 women for multiple hours and would just ask them just over and over, okay, like what are some of the places that you went to? What did it look like when you went there? Like how did it feel coming from the States and being a Black woman moving to the UK, and like that cultural difference, and what was it like to make friends there and all that kind of stuff. And then obviously like Google helps a lot.
Google University.
Yeah, exactly. It helps to be able to, look at a thing and to be able to describe it. And then I would go back to the women and say, okay, I want to talk about Robin doing this thing in this scene. Is that what would really happen? Like, you tell me, because I want it to be authentic for someone if they've ever actually been there or if they live there now. I don't want anyone to be like, I would never go there, or I would never do that. That would never happen. And I've been to London a couple of times. I have like some of the things that I enjoyed going to. Like I loved having afternoon tea at Harrods, right? Like that kind of stuff. I was able to take my personal experience and put in there. But that was a really long time ago. So I had to also update the references and make sure like anything that I was mentioning, someone wouldn't read it and be like, I mean, but that closed in 2012. So
Right.
So it took more research than the first 2 books. I would say that for sure. Because I've visited London but never lived there, right? So I couldn't
Okay.
really speak from that perspective on my own. I had to thankfully, talk to a bunch of women who were willing to tell me their stories and willing to let me ask them over and over questions that hopefully they read it and they can say, okay, she got it. She got it right.
I love that. I love it. And we also have Paulette Brown hanging out with us. And guys, she's all the way hanging out from London
Hi,
as well. So
Paulette.
thank you, Paulette, for joining us here at the cafe as we talk about London Calling. And Paulette, if you have not read this one, this is an amazing read. Go get you a copy. It's just awesome. You may have already read it as well. Erica, can you share with us a little bit about your experience and being able to chime in a little bit about your experience in London and actually reading it on the pages about London's experience moving to London from DC?
Yeah, so I think Robin's always been my favorite character. So it was really fun to get to have some input on that. I
Yeah.
distinctly remember talking to Darby about the bar that they go to, right? That's like their regular bar. And I remember her texting me like, okay, when you lived there, we went to this place. It was kind of near your flat. And so I remember like getting on Google, like pulling up the address of my flat in London, figuring out what the place was. And so it was really fun to do that, relive those memories with her, and then like read about it in the book and be like, oh my gosh, that was us, when she's describing it and talking about it and everything, and seeing our memories, but then, a little bit updated, a little bit modernized, but then brought to life in this book. So that was really, really fun. And I think the other thing that Darby captured really well, and I know she doesn't have a background in, is the finance and investment piece. So I have a background in that world, spent a lot of time talking with Darby, explaining it, some of the jargon, all of that kind of stuff. And so I read it and I was like, oh, it's like she worked there with us. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool too. It also speaks to Darby's talent to be able to listen to someone spout off investment speak and talk about portfolios and all of these emerging markets and stuff that, like, if you're not in that world, you do not care. And so to bring that to life and to make it accessible for people, that is a gift, right? That is something that is truly a gift. And I thought it was so funny when there's a part of the book and she's like, I was trying to explain it without making his eyes glaze over.
Right.
And I felt like Darby was able to explain it and bring people into that world without making their eyes glaze over. So like she nailed it. And so that was a lot of fun to really read too, because as someone in the industry, I didn't read it and go, oh, she has no idea what she's talking about. Like I was like, okay, yeah, she gets it. Okay, cool. I believe Robin works at an investment firm.
Right. And she did it in a way. I mean, we're talking about you, Darby, like you're not here, but and she did it in a way that it kept it interesting, and she kept the story flowing or what have you, that it grabbed your attention, that it wasn't like, okay, this is like a technical part that, okay, Darby.
Right.
No,
like,
I love the way that she did it in a fun way. That it just really captured your attention. And like you said, Erica, you got it. You got it as well. Let's talk a little bit about the friendships. And Darby, I like the way you started the book. Like you kind of put a smack dab in the middle with this prologue of her, she's having to break up, guys, because Robin, she really was dating a real prince. I mean, of course, he went about, letting her find out later that he was a real prince or what have you. But it comes to terms where she's having to make this hard decision where, he was a good guy and things were going good. It was going to be a long distance relationship or what have you. Because at that time, guys, she's kind of commuting back and forth from London to DC, because at this time, with the position that she has, she doesn't have, like, it's not a position where she would be stationed yet in London or what have you, until she, goes out for this position that will be a promotion. So she's having to, have this hard conversation with him. And even as a woman, it was almost like, she told us, and we know one thing about Robin is that when she was making decisions, like if she kind of had to, like, wrestle with it, or if she had to kind of like what's the word that I'm trying to use, like make it work, if that makes sense, or make it fit, she would be like, is this the best decision if I got to do all this work to make it work or what have you? So she ends up breaking things off with the prince, and she goes back to DC or what have you. Let's talk a little bit about her friends and the bond that they have in supporting her in the decisions that she makes and stuff like that as well. Erica, what do you want to share about that and their bond?
Yeah, so I think for a lot of women, millennials, young women, it's so relatable, right? Because your friends, I love that the friendship is like the other character in these series. When I talk about the books and I talk about the series, how people say like New York is the fifth character in Sex and the City, I feel like the friendship, right, is the other character. And so, they're romance novels, but they're really, it's about friends, right? The friends are like the soulmates here.
Yes.
And then the men are sort of like the accessories, right? Leather shoes to a really, a really great outfit, but your friends are the great outfit.
Yeah.
And so I love that because it felt so real. I know my friend group and our friend group has certainly picked me up after bad relationships and bad breakups, and has had tough conversations and tough love, and also cheered me on and said like, no, go after that thing. I know you're scared, but do it anyway. So it felt so true to life. And what I love about this series is that it celebrates Black female friendships.
Yeah.
Because so many times when you see reality TV or you look at stuff, it's not the friendship that is celebrated. It's the cattiness that's celebrated. It's the pettiness that's celebrated. Yeah. And so I love not only that friendship is like the other character, but that it is a positive light and shows you there's not only one way Black women are. There's not only one way people can be. And I feel like women need more examples of this, because I know way more friend groups that are like this than what gets promoted in, television or in popular culture. So I loved that. And I love that they brought Olivia into the friendship and into the fold, and it was a different dynamic. But my favorite thing about this series is that the friendship is sort of the other character in all three books.
And Erica, I'm glad that you said that the friendship is like a whole nother character in the book. And guys, if you're wondering, this book is book 3 in the Friendship Chronicles. So if you guys remember, kicking it off at the beginning of the year, she gave us the Shoe Diaries, boys and girls. And then in the spring, she gave us Bloom Where You're Planted. And now, book 3, guys, we got London Calling. And I definitely agree with Erica on that, Darby, about the friendship being a whole nother character in the books. And I like the fact that each one of them, it's like they had their own dynamic of what they brought to the table, but then they all meshed together and they was just the best of friends and they was there. And I even like the check-ins. I mean, because that's what you do. Like it could be like she said in there, it could be 12 o'clock in the afternoon or 2 a.m. in the morning. It was like, okay, let me know when you get home, let me know when you get home. Let me get checked in, even though some of them was in committed relationships, married or what have you. It was like, okay, check in with me when you get home. And that's so real with your really, really close friends. It's like, yes, check in with me when you get home. Even when, and Darby will let you share about the friendship as well. And after you share, I even want to talk about the part where when she takes this photo that you guys see and her phone is blowing up from her parents and her girls, like, okay, I know you didn't just drop down in London. You gonna post on the gram, but you're not gonna let us know you made it here safely. We gotta talk about that. Darby, what's your thoughts on their friendship?
So I will say that is, I mean, not that has specifically happened, but that is exactly how my friends and my family would respond to that. Like, you're not putting anything on social media before you tell us first. Like there's a hierarchy here, right?
Right.
But for me, I think, and maybe this is admittedly a bias of mine, right? That the friendships are so important because these are romance novels.
Yeah.
In that each of the women is going on a journey to get to the point that they are like comfortable with the idea of doing the scary thing to be in a relationship with this person that they want to be in a relationship with. And it takes their friends at different points to be the ones to be like, I know this is scary, but you can do it.
Yeah.
I know this is scary, but this is what you've prayed for. I know this is scary, but like, we got your back, right? And I don't see how they get to any of those points without that friendship, without those women who are like there to, sometimes check them and be like, was that date as bad as you thought it was? Or are you just used to bad dates? And so now you're perpetuating this cycle, right? Sometimes you need your friends to say that. Or to be like, why did you even go on a date with this person in the first place? You knew he wasn't. Like, you knew from the get-go. Sure, okay, do what you got to do, but pull it together, right? Like, it takes that friendship connection in order for them to even get to the point where they're like, okay, this person could be the one, or this person could be someone that I want to like try it out with, try this second chance with, try this, like, do the hard work with to make our relationship work, that kind of stuff. So,
yes. And I like that. I like that you mentioned that part too, because we're going to talk about some of the dates that she went on, even with that.
Even some of them were legit bad.
No, they were bad.
Even with that, the first date, I like the fact that her friends kind of, they checked her in a nice way. But in my mind, okay, we gonna speed it up a little bit. In my mind, Erica and Darby, I thought she was gonna leave her brother at the table.
I did too. That's what I would have done. I
mean, when this Joker, like, literally, okay. First of all, guys, if you haven't read the book yet, he done. Okay, first of all, I'm like, can he not handle?
No, he can't. He can't hold his liquor. Just start there.
Because I'm like, okay, clearly he cannot hold his liquor, and then he's in the middle of this restaurant or this bar, professing his life. I mean, he don't jump from a first date to this my girl, we gonna get married, type of thing. And in my mind, I'm thinking, when he was at the bar and she was ordering the rice and stuff, I just knew that when he came back, she was gonna go somewhere. That's what I thought. But I was like, oh, okay, so she sat through it. She sat through it. Erica, what was your thing? I was laughing.
Let me tell you something. So the secondhand embarrassment was real. Like, I felt my face getting hot. I was uncomfortable. I was like, oh my God.
I was going through for a sister.
Listen, I wanted to crawl under a table and I was just reading the book. I was like, oh, absolutely not. I did think she was going to get up and leave. So I do have to give her.
Yes, Darby, you got us on that one. Yeah, because I just knew she was walking out.
Listen, I don't always get so engrossed in a book that I feel, but like all I can say is the secondhand embarrassment was so real.
Yes.
I was mortified. Like it was happening to me. And I'm like, I've had some bad dates. And then I was like, thank God I never had a date like that bad. Because, oh my gosh. And then I was like, and thank God I don't have to date anymore. So hopefully I'll never, if someone is professing their love for me, it's because we're married and we're professing love for each other. But I was like, oh, that is, it was so cringe. It was so cringe.
Definitely cringe. And Erica, Darby, okay, first, because you got us because, guys, the date it started out so
It was so good. It was so good.
They were connecting. They were having fun. They extended it. And maybe that, that's when it went left.
That's where they went left. They should have stopped. They should have.
It went from a couple of hours to all day. Darby, chime in. What you got for us? Spill the tea.
So I will say, okay, so a couple things. One, I think in my head when I was writing it, Robin was so, she comes to London like making this pledge. I am going to find the love of my life by my next birthday.
Yes.
So she's like, even though she's starting to feel that cringe factor, she's like, I don't want to give up too soon. Like, I know, but the date was going so well at first. And I think a lot of times, speaking from personal experience, women, we will try to justify things, right? Mm-hmm. And we'll try to we'll stay in something a lot longer than we should have because we're like, oh, but it was going so well. And, oh, but he's so attractive. And, oh, he really likes me. Da, da, da. When all the time you're knowing this does not feel right. This is not where I'm supposed to be. Right. So thankfully it only lasted one day. Right. She didn't go 2 years doing that. But we can do that. We can easily talk ourselves into a thing. The second thing I will say is, unfortunately, I was able to pull from personal experience for that very embarrassing date. It was not exactly how it went in the book, but certainly experienced when I moved to New York, I was dating a lot, right? And one of the dates I went on was with this guy. It started off really, really well. It was we met up for coffee and it was oh, this is nice. Okay. So we go from coffee to the park. Okay. It's giving little light flurries in the park. It was very good. So then we decide to go to the bar. That's where it went wrong, right? 3 or 4 bars later, he's out here professing his love. He's telling everyone at the bar, she's going to be my wife, da, da, da. And I'm sitting there you don't even know my middle name at this point, right? You don't even know that it's Lynn. You don't even know that. How did we get here? So certainly
okay, Darby, I love songs, so I done had 2 songs pop in my head from that.
Yes. How did we get here?
Yes.
Nobody's supposed to be.
No, nobody's supposed to see that. Nobody.
Oh my. Okay, now Darby, Erica, I don't know if you're with me, my friend. Really, Darby? He had the tear when she was breaking it off nicely. The tear, Darby. Really?
I did laugh at that.
I felt bad for her brother. I was really? Darby,
I had a belly laugh.
I was oh, okay, this is what we're doing. Okay, first of all, you don't embarrass me. I'm trying to let you down easily, and you gonna do the tear on me. You gonna do the tear on me, okay?
I mean, to be fair to the guy, right? He met someone he really liked. He didn't go about it the right way, obviously. But you could, in the same way that you felt her secondhand embarrassment, you could hopefully get the sense that he realizes I really messed this thing up, right?
Yeah, I think when he ate some rice and it kind of absorbed some of the alcohol, he was oh, I screwed this up. Yeah,
I really
the rice brought him back to reality. What you think, Erica?
I mean, so my thought when he cried his thug tear, my first thought was like, that's an alcohol tear, right? Because like we've all done that where we've had like too much to drink and then we start crying.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, kudos to you for keeping it to a tear and not having a whole meltdown. Because I tend to like drink and go meltdown, right? So kudos to him for that. And then my other thought was like, Darby watches way too much Grey's Anatomy because that was just dramatic.
I do watch too much Grey's Anatomy.
I was like, this is so dramatic. But then I was like, but again, to your point, I think we all have also had that realization of like, wow, I really blew that. And so I can feel that for him, but I'm not gonna laugh. I laughed at the thug tear, like the big single solitary thug tear. Okay. I was cackling, which was great because it brought me back from all that embarrassment I was feeling.
Right. Boys and girls, if you are just joining us, I'm having an amazing tea time hanging out with Darby Baham and Erica Cartledge. Boys and girls, we are talking about London Calling, guys, and it was an amazing read. I'm telling you, if you haven't read it already, continue to listen to Tea Time. I'm on today with Darby Baham and Erica Cartledge, and definitely go out and get you a copy of this amazing book. And look, and Darby, we definitely have to talk about this Tiff Happy Place. She said playlist. Darby, okay. Tell the people, is there a playlist? We know, guys, that this book, it has Mariah Carey all up in here. But in addition to that, she also has some other songs, the music, that whole vibe in there as well. And guys, you know, when you hang out with your girls, you got to have the music. Darby, tell us about this playlist.
So there absolutely is a playlist. It's on Spotify. I think it's called London Calling, but I have it linked on my Instagram and my Twitter, so it's super easy to find there. There's actually playlists for each of the books because music plays such a big part throughout them. And I'm from New Orleans. I don't know. Music is a big part of my life as well. And so like you guys, like even when I'm talking about a thing, right, I can start to hear certain songs play in my head. And so that happens throughout the book. You know, like you said, she's a big Mariah Carey fan. So there's a bunch of Mariah Carey songs on the playlist. There's also like some songs that represent other different moments that are in it. Some folks who are from UK who are on the playlist. So I certainly recommend it. Each of the playlists is maybe about an hour, give or take. So it's not super long, but it gets you right in the mood to read the book or remember scenes from when you read the book.
I love it. And I know, and Erica, you can definitely chime in here. I love a good playlist. I know we have some individuals that are watching us. They love a good playlist too. There is nothing like a good book playlist. And guys, let me just tell you, definitely go and get a copy or listen to the playlist as she told you where you can listen to it at as well. It definitely puts you in the mood for the book. Of course, you'll be pulling out all your Mariah Carey, you know, from the 90s or what have you to enjoy this book too. And that leads me into our next, we're going to talk about this next date. Did Jasper really come to her about who was the better singer? I mean, did he really? Okay.
Everything about Jasper was just wrong. Like from the very moment they met.
Look, Erica, I definitely want your take on Jasper because I'm with you, Darby. I mean, first of all, she gets to a. I mean, he didn't have even. Now I get it. You know, some people are very timely, you know, that they feel like if you on time, you late. Because, you know, if you early, you on time. That's what some people say. But first of all, she couldn't find it. I mean, the place was like, y'all know y'all had those little cute little places that's kind of like in the cut. And if you ain't from there, then you probably don't know. You got to find the in the cut, you know, whatever. So, you know, she gets there, boys and girls. And, you know, this Joker, he got a little bit of an attitude. I mean, he got a little bit of an attitude. Like they was waving high.
Candy red.
But again, like Erica said, she's trying to like, okay, you know, maybe let me just, you know, I'm listening to my friends. Let me just give them a chance. Let me just give them a chance. But guys, sometimes when the red flags is waving, so when he first had the little attitude, you know, what have you, she kind of played it. But then I'm kind of like London. Like I pick up on people's like body language. I pick up on things that people say that even though they say that they joking, it's like, like they ain't really joking. Like he really showing me who he really is, or she really showing me who she really is, or what have you. So Erica, I'll let you share a little bit about, what was your takes, because I got a whole bunch of stuff and a whole bunch of conversations for
I mean, so like I feel like this Robin was so relatable to me because I've dated so many men that felt like they were in competition with me. They had to one up with me. They just wanted to like debate or argue for the sake of arguing. So I felt myself again getting hot. So when she and she did what I would do, which is like be like, I'm not doing this, I'm leaving, right? Like that, I do that now. Like my toddler gets on my nerves, I'm like, I'm not doing this with you, I'm leaving the room, right? So I do that. So when he followed her and she read him for filth, I was
Erica,
I was cheering.
Darby, I'm just gonna tell you, and I don't know if Erica did this. I was talking out loud. I said, "Did he just follow her?"
Yeah. No, I did. I was having literally. My husband was like, "Who are you talking to?" I'm like, "The book. Leave me alone. I'm talking to the book. Let me tell you about this fool."
Because first of all, Jasper, she was giving you a way out. She was
great at it.
Because she could have like threw the drink in your face. I mean, she didn't do none of that. She just nicely got up as the professional that she was, as the boss that she was, and she walked away. And then she's having a moment with herself, trying to rethink everything or whatever. He follows her.
Yeah.
So when she read him for filth, you asked for that, brother, because
right, you invited that into your life. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Continue, Erica. Continue.
Yep. No. That's it. He invited that into his life.
Yes.
She was trying to be gracious. She was again trying to give him a way out. And but that's why I'm like, some people, like she said, have to have the last word, think they're going to get the best of you. They want to do it, and they're totally, wholly unprepared for what you just saved them from.
Yes.
And so that's why I was like, well, you followed it. Because she tried to save you.
Yeah, she tried to help you. It's almost like he asked for that, because he was like coming for her, like he was kind of doing those little sly remarks, passive aggressive little things or whatever, and she was like literally biting her tongue. So when you followed her, you was ready for all that. You was ready for all that and the asking this, that, and the third, because you followed her. And Erica and Darby, I also feel like some of the red flags, like they weren't waving as big as when she first met him in person, but like Erica said, like she kind of was noticing, okay, this joker, sorry for calling him a joker, but this joker always have to have the last word, like he gotta one up me or whatever, but she was trying to be open. So she was like, okay, maybe it's just, a part of, or whatever. But yeah, I definitely agree. Darby, chime in. Come here, Erica. We having good
No, this is good. I was just going to say, in my head, when she walks away the first time, I envisioned, that scene in Girlfriends where, was it Tony? Who was like, she was leaving the little like cafe that they're always at. And she's like, "Good day, sir." I said, "Good day." Like that's what I envisioned. She's like trying to like have her grand exit. Like, just leave me alone. I'm getting out of here. You didn't already said that. I don't even remember the girl's name at this point. What was the singer that he tried to say was as good as Mariah?
Oh, I can't even remember.
Was it Leona Lewis?
Yeah. Yep.
She already had this debate with him. Right? You've already done all these things. It's time to just cut our losses.
Right.
And go about our ways. But not everybody wants to be saved. Not everyone.
Even with that, she did it in a manner where she still was allowing him to be great, if that makes sense. Like she was still like, okay, I get that, she has a great voice, but basically saying, in my mind, I am a super fan of Mariah Carey and I ain't changing, whatever. Yes, she got a great voice, but let me just tell you, these are all the reasons that, Mariah Carey is blah, blah, blah. So even with that, she still didn't diminish what he was saying. She acknowledged what he was saying. It was just that I ain't changing my opinion, what have you. So even with that, he was getting,
I think some of also what was going on was, she's a young Black woman in a new country, right? So she doesn't want to make a scene initially.
Yeah. True.
Right? You already have to deal with like the stereotypes of the angry Black woman, and she's working in a predominantly white space, so she's already like feeling that pressure to, keep your composure, like, say what you want to say, but in a way that's like not going to be too abrasive and not too whatever.
Right.
But then, like you said, he follows her and it's just like, you know what? Here it goes, because this is what you wanted. This is
Look,
what you wanted. So here it is, gift package for you.
look, Darby and Erica, and then he had the nerve to act appalled, like,
Right.
are you talking to me like that? I'm
Right.
like, okay,
Yeah.
really, okay.
I mean, I just feel like it was like gaslighting 101.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Boys and girls, if you're just joining us, hanging out with Darby Baham and Erica Cartledge, guys, we are talking about London Calling. We are spilling a little bit of tea about this amazing read. As y'all can see, this is an upbeat book. It's fun. You will laugh for it as well. But Darby, I want to talk a little bit about, you said it a little bit earlier, that she had kind of made a decision in her mind that, guys, she's 30 years old. She's getting ready to turn 31. I want to say in about 3 months, if I'm not mistaken, Darby. And guys, she wanted a relationship that allowed her to fully be herself. She wanted to fully be loved by, by the other person, even her flaws, to be able to accept her, what have you. But she did want to do it because she felt like everything in her life was going right. She just got this new promotion. She's living in London. She's living her best life, boys and girls, except for her love life. She felt like, she's not in a committed relationship. She's not, on the way to getting married, none of that. So she's going through all of these, these dates, and she wanted more than just, dating or what have you. So if you guys are wondering why, like, she keeps going on these dates
Disaster
or
dates.
what have you for that. So Darby, can we talk a little bit about that and her emotional mindset of wanting to feel like putting such a timeline on herself? Because as you guys know, I mean, her birthday was, I guess, in 3 months or what have you. What was your thoughts in creating that side of her characteristics of wanting that in such a short time period?
So to me, that was indicative of her character, right? Like, she's a very successful woman. She's gotten everything that she's wanted by taking no excuses. Like, her motto is no convincing, right? Like, everything
That's what it is.
about
No
her is
convincing.
very, everything about her is very no nonsense. Like, even when she's giving advice to her friends, it's very much like, even with like her style, right? It's very like, why are you even thinking of bringing this home if you didn't like it in the store? Like, leave it there. She just, that is her personality. And so for her, it is like, well, I've gotten everything else that I've wanted by doing that. But there's this one thing that just has eluded her. And it's not because she's not had opportunities. She's dated a lot, even before she moved to London, but she's experienced disappointment after disappointment. And her way of getting around that is to be like, I'm going to set this concrete plan for myself. Right? Because that's how she lives her life. And I'm going to go forward with that plan, like, just tunnel vision. That is what I'm going to do. And it's going to work out because I said so. And we know that is not often how life works, but that is the journey that Robin has to go on. But I think, for her, that one thing that's eluded her is a healthy and happy relationship, but it can be something for other people, right? Like, I have friends who have healthy and happy relationships, but want more in their careers. I have friends who, they have they feel like they have great connection around them, but they want, it's that one thing. There's always that one thing. And, if we're going to get spiritual, then I could tell you that you're always going to have that one thing, because God doesn't want you to be comfortable. You always have to rely on him in order to be getting the things that you're wanting. But for Robin, it was, how is it that everything else that I've wanted in life, like,
except this,
I wanted the promotion, I got the promotion, like, I wanted the amazing flat that everyone told me made no sense in London, I got that amazing flat. For me, right? Like, I've set up my life for it to work that way. So of course that should be the way for my love life. And she has to go on this journey to, like, get to the point where she sort of allows for grace for herself and for other people. allows herself and someone else to be human, like
Yeah.
allows for like things to not be just so black and white, the no excuses, the no convincing, that kind of stuff.
I love it. I love it. Boys and girls, hanging out with Darby Baham and Erica Cartledge. Guys, we're talking about London Calling. Of course, you know how we do it here at Angela's Literary Tea. If you have a question or a comment for Darby, or if there's something in the book that you want us to definitely talk about, put it in the comment section. We'll be sure to include you. And Darby, that leads us into, y'all know that we have to talk about Zion. Now, I called him Zion. Is that how you pronounce it? You know what, readers, we'll pronounce it how we think.
It's so in my head it was Zane.
Okay, Zane, like One Direction.
Like One Direction, yeah. But feel free to call him whatever you want to call him.
So Zane, boys and girls. Okay, let's talk about Zane. Okay, boys and girls. So they meet. They hang. Now this is a little bit after Jasper. Okay, so she's feeling like she can redeem herself. Zane comes up, guys. He's the singer. He's a singer boy. Okay, he can sing. He's a background singer. All of this good stuff. Things are going so well, Darby. Things are going so well. And then first of all, she meets his sister, and y'all know women, our intuition or whatever, even though, she was like, okay, with the sister, but it was just that little voice like, it's something. So then, boys and girls, they dating, they do what they do. It's a couple of weeks have gone by. They're having a good time. They're getting to know each other. And he get a text. Erica, what's your thoughts about Zane?
So this one stung because I have had that happen to me.
Oh, okay.
Not the text part, but the like you're with someone is going well, you think this is going to be the thing, and then someone from their past pops up. Yeah. And someone from their past pops up and is like, they're like, oh, I want to try this. I think that's the person I'm supposed to be with, which thank God, dodge bullet. You weren't supposed to be for me, but in the moment. So Zane stung. I wanted to fight his sister because she was up in there wrecking shop, and I was like, she's trash.
Messy, just messy.
She was real messy, and I did not like her. But I felt like probably anyone who is dated for some amount of time has either had that happen to them or been in that position, because I've also been in that position where I was dating someone and then a person from my past was like, I've been thinking we should try this again. But so that felt like the most relatable, because so many people I know, and myself included, have been on like both sides of that. So I can understand Robin and why she was like, you got to stop talking. I'm getting off the phone. Like, I'm not listening to this anymore, because I've been there. But I could also understand him being like, if this was the person, this used to be my person, and now they're like coming back into my life, do I really need to go and explore that? So yeah. I could see both sides of it. So I feel like I was a little softer. Now his sister, I still want to fight, but I feel like I was a much softer to Zane in that situation than I had been for any of the other two disastrous days that she went on. I was like, I'm done with both y'all jokers. But like, I did have a little soft spot for Zane just because I've experienced that like in my own life. Now his sister could have got it. His sister, she had me punching air.
And it was almost like Zane, he had a conscience, and I felt like he was trying to protect her feelings as much as
he could. Yeah.
It was one of those, it was one of those situations where he was like, I really like you, but I really want to explore this with this person, because we got some history, or what have you, and I really want to explore. So I'm kind of with you, Erica. I was a little lenient, because again, think about even that night, which I was kind of with London a little bit, like, you know what, and I think I would appreciate it in person versus over the phone. But hey, I felt like at least he broke it off with that, what I'm saying? Because he could have, because what they was, I'm trying to be G or what have you, but he could have went all the way, but it was like, no, I can't come in,
Right.
I can't come in, or what have you. But yeah, I'm with Erica. I kind of was a little more lenient with him. But yeah, the sister, on the other hand, I was like, really, you just messy. You just messy, okay? Darby, what was your take on that? Because one thing that you did with these books, I mean, you definitely took us on a journey with these dates, okay? And London too. London was on a journey, boys and girls, and you're gonna be on that journey with her with these dates. But what was your thought process of giving us a variety of all these different dates that she's gone on?
Well, I think it's like Erica said, right? If you have dated any significant amount of time, you can probably relate to Robin a lot because I think the key is it's not always going to be just that really bad date from the moment you meet that person, like how it was with Jasper. There
Yeah.
are going to be times when what happened isn't as black and white. It is,
Right.
we were actually moving towards something, and for whatever reason it didn't work out. And I think the thing that you see in the book, or hope that you see in the book, is that those times hurt her even more than
Yeah.
the times when, because she has this hope for this lasting love.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so the time that she spends with Zane gets her excited, gets her like, oh, maybe this is what I was supposed to come to London for.
Right.
Right. Maybe this is like what everything else is, like all the trash that I've experienced up to now has been to prepare me for this moment. And they go on a few dates and they experience, I was talking to someone else and they were like, you just love giving people like little plot twists. And it's not that. It's just I want you to experience how Robin feels, and that like she really feels, oh, I finally have met someone where it feels real. I finally have met someone where we have a connection, and we can laugh with each other, we can talk about politics, we can talk about like what all the different things, and it's an external influence that comes in and blows everything apart, right? It's something
I
that she
love
can't
that.
control. It's something that, and I think for me, I was telling Erica this earlier today, like I have been on a journey of like releasing control in my own life. And I think that's probably how it ends up getting in this book too. but it's something that Robin can't control. She can't control that his sister texts him and tells him that somebody, from his past wants to try things again. Like she can't control that. So how does she respond to it? And I think that's where you start to see her like really, I mean, she has a moment where she breaks down, right? Because she's human, but
Right.
then she has to pick herself back up and say, okay, that hurt. That hurt a lot. But what do I
Yeah.
do now? How do I
Yeah.
respond to that?
How do
Like,
I move forward?
how do I move forward? Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I love that. And Darby, I want to talk a little bit about, because in addition to the building relationships, of course, we all know she has her girls back home in DC. But I mean, of course, now she got this promotion and London is her home, or what have you. So she meets a new friend, one of her coworkers, Liv or Olivia, and they kind of kick it off like right at the beginning. Now I don't know about Erica, but I was a little leery at first because I'm like, okay, in my mind, I'm like, okay, you don't really know her like that. But yeah, you telling her she can call you Rob. And, in my mind, I did go like, okay, wait a minute, that's your girls back home. That's what they call you. And then when she was like spilling the tea, I was like, okay, yeah, but I mean, I get it. Sometimes you click and sometimes you just meet people. But in my mind, I was like, when they first, the first time when they went out for drinks or whatever, I was like, okay, you just giving her all the tea. I was really like leery side eye, but maybe that's just me. But Liv is like her girl in London, or what have you too, and she's showing that she has her back, and she tells her about her brother Craig. We're gonna talk about that a little bit too. But Erica, what was your first reaction when her and Olivia or Liv met? What was your first? Because that was my first reaction. I was like, oh, wait a minute.
So it's funny, that wasn't my first reaction at all. I think I probably was like 3 pages into her meeting Olivia, and I texted Darby, and I was like, I love her. But I think part of that is because I've had the experience of being a Black woman in a white male dominated industry. And so when you see someone that looks like you and is doing the things that you're doing and succeeding, I think you connect to them in a different way and faster than maybe you would someone else. And then with her being an expat, and Robin being in London and it being a new place,
Yeah.
it made sense to me that they would have a level of camaraderie almost instantly because they both understand the struggle that the other person is going to. So I think
Yeah.
about, when I joined my last investment firm, I don't work in the investment industry anymore. But I remember interviewing with a Black woman. And like when she left, she turned around and high fived me in my interview. When I started and everyone else was like shaking my hand, she hugged me. And so for me, I understood why there was a connection and why there was a bond right away, because like that woman and I had that bond and we still talk today. And she has older children than mine are. So I'm like, yo, what did you do when you had a three-nager? Because I'm about to throw this kid out the window, right? Because we had that bond, but it was like instant when we met. So I understood how the two of them could click, particularly because they had been talked up to the other person.
Yes.
So being
Yes.
able,
Yes.
so I got it. So I think by the time they had gone to drinks, I was like, Darby, I love her. And like, I mean, I don't want her to replace anybody. She can just come into the fold. She's great. Da, 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 da. When are you writing a book about her? Like, that was me because I was just way, way, way into their friendship.
Yes. Darby, your take on Liv when you was writing her character?
So a few things. One being that when I talked to Erica and some of the other women who told me about their move to the UK, they all mentioned that they needed someone there, right, to make it feel like home. And I think that that's just generally when you move somewhere, it doesn't feel like home until you have at least one person that you have some sort of connection with. Otherwise, you're just kind of like still roaming around, that kind of thing. I agree with what Erica said completely. I don't think that needs to be just in investment banking. I think that can be, that's happened to me in the nonprofit space as well. I think that can happen in a lot of arenas that can be largely very white. When you meet someone who is another Black woman and you feel like you are like-minded, you just want to like grab them, right? And for Robin and Olivia particularly, Robin feels like she sees different parts of her friend group in Olivia. Right? Like she sort of kind of looks a little bit like Jennifer, but with the twist. She has like a great shoe like fashion sense. Like Reagan. Like there's different things that she's like, oh, that one right there, we're gonna bond. And I think that just happens sometimes. So I totally get, and Robin's friends are skeptical, like how you were, Angela, right? Because anytime you have like a really close knit group, they're like, who is this person coming in? Maybe we'll see. So that is natural. But I think for Robin and Olivia, it was very much just like, I see you, right? We're here. And so I don't need to have airs around you. I can just be myself. And it was, I guess, like a little bit of a tease to what you would find with Robin later, where she opened up to Craig, right? Like it was easy enough for her to open up to Olivia because she doesn't have trust issues with women.
Right.
So it's easy for her to just be herself, to just say all the like, girl, you have no idea all the things that I've been through, like all that stuff, because she hasn't been disappointed by women. Where it's hard for her is with men. Where she has her guard up is with men. And so it was supposed to show you like she has the tools to do this thing. She can do this. She can be open and honest and vulnerable. It's just that she needs to be with someone who provides that safe space for her to be able to do so.
Yeah. And Liv started, she started proving herself to me, when, of course, when they met, Zay, whatever, and she sent her the text, she was sending her the text while they was, they were communicating or what have you. Same thing, like, let me know when you get home, you safe, all that good stuff. But at first I was just like, wait, hold up now. But and I definitely like the characteristics of her. Again, for me, I had to warm up to her.
That's fair.
And I really I definitely want to talk about, I guess for me, I kind of looked at it as the meet cute when she met Craig. I mean, I was like Team Craig at the beginning. He was like, first of all, he's sitting there, they're having like this girls day in or girls night in or what have you. He totally crashes in. Or what have you, but he just fit right in, like he was in the conversations. Then he having this whole conversation about what they watching. I was like, okay, I'm Team Craig. I'm really liking Craig. I'm Team Craig. Erica, what was your take when they had that meet cute between her and Craig?
Listen, I definitely was Team Craig. I was cracking up because I have friends who have brothers who would do the exact same thing. So, and again, I just keep coming back to how like relatable all of these stories feel. Like, this could be me at a girlfriend's house and her sister comes through or her brother comes through or, you know, whatever. So I thought that was funny. I definitely was Team Craig when he could have the conversation about Bridget Jones' diary. And then I wanted to fight him when he didn't know about Love Jones. That's another conversation for another day.
Still upset about it. I wrote it and I'm upset about it.
But I did, and it was funny because I was so wrapped up in the meet cute. I had forgot Olivia had told her the dirt about her brother until Robin made the comment. I was like, oh, that's right, he is a cheating dog, but maybe he's different. Like that literally, I had forgotten all about it.
Right.
Until Robin made the comment. And I was like, oh, that's right. Olivia did say she would introduce him, but her brother got Craig. Right. Okay, that is Craig. Okay. But I mean, so like, yeah, I definitely was Team Craig from the moment they met. And I was also glad that Robin misinterpreted the invitation for the outfit and wore a zhuzhed up little casual something. Right. I was like, yes, girl, do it. But I loved that whole scene, even when I just think about like favorite parts of the book from the minute she got there and Liv had like the balloons and the confetti and the champagne flutes with the crystals in it and stuff like that. I was like, I loved that, like that whole thing from beginning to end. I just really loved that part of the book. Is one of my favorites.
I love that. Darby, feel free to share about their meet cute. And then also, if you want to share one of your favorite parts of the book as well.
That's certainly one of my favorites. I think probably it's hard. It's like picking like between your children, right? But I think I enjoyed writing that chapter a lot. I also enjoyed the scene where, they're in the park and she's like deciding whether or not she's gonna like really trust him and that kind of stuff. And then of course, once the friends come at the end and visit her, that was also one of my favorites to write. But I think I was certainly pulling on energy from friends who have had younger brothers, and that kind of like, I love him, but he's annoying type of energy. So, like Olivia's, she will do anything for her brother. She's like, girl, I don't know if you want to go there, like that kind of thing. Like, I love him, but he is very confident, comes in there, like very like, that kind of person who walks in a room and like takes the energy in the room, right? In a good way.
In a good way.
In a bad way. In a good way, he does that. And she's drawn to him, but she's like, but I've been hurt a lot. This is not the kind of person I need to be drawn to. And he just keeps pulling her in, right? And keeps, I think, surprising her in different ways. Like, that kind of guy, who would think that he would be able to recite words from Bridget Jones' diary?
Right.
Like, this super suave guy walks in the room and he's like eating their pizza and like kind of dissing like the
cheese running down, he's just hanging out.
And then he's like, opening up about actually feeling bad about like cheating on like his last girlfriend, and reciting, you know, debating with her in a good way, because the other guy was debating in a bad way, but
Right.
debating with her in a good way about what are the most important scenes in Bridget Jones' Diary, and like that kind of stuff where you're like, who is this guy?
Right. Like what? Where did he come
Where did he
from?
Where did he
Yes, I love it. I love it. Guys, we are hanging out with Darby Baham and Erica Cartledge, boys and girls, talking about London Calling. And so I want to allow Darby and Erica, I know they share one of their favorite parts, but if you guys want to read a short snippet, or if you want to sum up your thoughts or your take on the overall story, I'll start with Erica.
Yeah, so actually, if you look, there's like a bunch of folded pages in here because there's so many parts that I love. But I'm gonna skip to the end, the part where Darby was talking about when the friends come to visit. And there is a conversation in this book that is reminiscent of a conversation that Darby and I ourselves had. And I will share with the readers because, or the viewers, because I'm not sure about saying this, it is the reason that I'm married to my husband today.
Aww.
Was because the very question that her friends, that Robin's friends asked her, is what Darby asked me when I wasn't sure that I wanted to date my husband for, you know, a number of reasons. So while much of the book resonates with me, I think this does. And I think, again, it speaks to that extra character, or the, I don't know if I should call it the fifth character or the sixth character, because I feel like Christine is still a character, so I'm going to call it the sixth. So I'm going to say the sixth character in the book, which is that friendship. And so it says, "But Rob, hear me out," said Reagan. "I don't think our home addresses are what's stopping you. It's your fear, but fear doesn't have to stop you. It can push you and inspire you to move past it. I mean, what if, for once, instead of focusing on all of the things that could go wrong with a guy, you asked yourself essentially what you always ask us: what's the best that can happen? That would certainly be a change," I said, sniffing my tears dry. "Yeah, it would be," Reagan replied softly. And I love that because I think it speaks to their friendship. It speaks to your friends being able to push you outside of your comfort zone and push you to do the thing that scares you anyway. And I love that this is like gentle, tough love, because it is tough love to say, like, quit being scared, put your big girl panties on, and like, let's reframe how you're looking at this thing. But it's still done in a gentle way. And again, I think that just speaks to, I'm going to call it the sixth character. Like I said, I feel like Christine's still a character. Yes. Especially when you played that birthday voice note and you had me sobbing all over again. Can we talk about this? You made me cry in the first book like a baby, and then I was crying again like I had the voice note on my phone. So we don't fight about that. But yeah, I think it really speaks to that sixth character in the series and in the group, which is their friendship and the beautiful kind of like love story between the friends that are there.
And being able to, you know, kind of what Erica is kind of getting to too, also with her friends, being able to have that hard conversation with her, you know, as well, and to be able to help her to flesh it all out about, you know, what she's going through, about making, you know, because this is a major decision, you know, or what have you, but also giving her that other aspect of looking at the situation or what have you too. And I'm glad that her friends was able to do that, and they could have those type of conversations with her in love, you know, as well too. So Erica, thank you for definitely bringing that point as well. Darby, what is your take of the overall story, or how you want to sum it up for everybody, what you want to say about London Calling?
Oh, that's a
great... And if it's easier, you could even share a little bit about what you enjoyed about writing this whole story as well.
Sure. I think the biggest takeaway for London Calling for me, at least writing it, and I've thus learned that like every time I think there's like a big takeaway for one of my books, someone else tells me something else. So, you know, free for interpretation, right? But this story is, and I love that Erica picked that excerpt because it is about the idea of pushing through your fears, right? And so for London, her fear has been constant disappointment in her relationships.
Mhm,
Um,
mhm.
and so she's been fearful to be open, to be vulnerable, to have like honest moments with men throughout her life. She like gets to that point and stops herself every single time because she doesn't want to be hurt. It's just over and over. What is driving her is, I don't want to be hurt in this situation. And so the journey really is her getting to the point to say, even if I do get hurt, right? Even if I do the scary thing, even if I take this chance on this guy who I don't know much about, except that like his sister said that like he's a great guy but might not be great to date. Even if I do all of those things and I open up, and in the book he asked her to like take this pact to be an open book to each other. If I do all of those things, what's the best that could happen?
What's the best
um
that can happen?
and it is like that reminder, I think, and I think it's a perfect reminder for romance novels to not, I think it's so easy to ask yourself what's the worst that can happen, right? You
Yeah.
do that all the time. But to remind yourself to flip it, to just have that quick check-in with yourself that if I allow myself to be vulnerable, if I allow myself to open up to people, what's the best that could happen? And in this book, the best that could happen is, you know, I don't want to give it, it's a romance novel. I don't want to
Right.
give it away, but she finds someone who like she wants to go on this journey with now, right? That
Yeah.
could be in any facet of your life. For me,
Right.
that was also like, what's the best that can happen if I start to like really go hard and like release my books to the world, right? Like, I've said before to other people that it took me 10 years to write my first book. Not because it physically took me 10 years to write it, because I just kept trying to perfect it over and over, that I wouldn't release it. I wouldn't pitch it to who it needed to go to in order to get it out into the world. And it was that like, what's the best that could happen if you stop being scared, if you do what you're supposed to do, and you allow like the universe and God to like just have its way, right?
Yeah.
And so that can be in relationships, that can be in your career, that can be in your friendships, that can be in so many different ways. But I hope that people read the book and that they come out of it asking themselves, what's the best that can happen if I do this one scary thing that like I want to do, but I'm worried about what might happen if I do it.
I love it. I love it. And guys, the time goes by so fast. We have spilled the tea. We've talked about London Calling, boys and girls. If you have not read this book, let me tell you, go get it. It is available in ebook as well as print copy as well. You can get it where books are sold. You can get it from Amazon. You can go to Darby's website. You can go to the Harlequin website. You can go to Barnes and Nobles. All these places, indie bookstores, Love Sweet Arrow. Again, you can go and get you a copy of London Calling. And boys and girls, definitely after you read it, definitely leave a review. I know that Darby would be so appreciative of that as well. I'm going to allow Erica and Darby to tell you how you can stay connected with them and what they have going on next. Erica, my friend, we're going to start with you. How can we stay connected with you, and what do you have going on next?
Absolutely. So as I mentioned at the top, I am a personal stylist. So you can connect with me on Instagram. My Instagram is Your Chic is Showing. My website is the same thing, yourchicishowing.com. My Facebook is Your Chic is Showing. And I just started a TikTok because that's what my social media manager told me to do. And that's Your Chic is Showing _Erica. But I would love to hang out. I'm always doling out fashion advice, styling advice. Some of it's tough love, a la Robin. Some of it's more fun and playful, but always trying to just help people make fashion and style accessible to them. And what I have got going on is I'm about to drop my holiday gift guide so that it will make shopping for all of the people in your life really, really easy. And I'm super excited because I spent a lot of time highlighting Black-owned businesses, women-owned businesses, minority businesses, and I have got some great stuff for you all. So that'll be dropping in the next week or so, and I would love for you to grab it. It's free, and just go and patronize these businesses as you're buying gifts for the holiday season.
I love it. I love it, guys. Definitely follow Erica Cartledge, guys. Stay connected with her as well. And of course, course, Darby Baham. How can we stay connected with you, my friend? And what do you have going on next?
So, similar to Erica, all of the ways to stay connected to me are all under the same name. But it's you can reach me on Instagram, on Twitter, and my website, all at Darby Baham. Website is darbybaham.com. And as Angela mentioned, you can purchase, there are direct purchase links on there that will lead you to Amazon, different indie bookstores, Harlequin's website, that kind of stuff. You can also reach like the Audible links from there as well. So if you are a person who likes to listen to your books instead of read them, that is an option for you as well. And I have free reading guides for all 3 books. So if you have a book club, or if you just like to ask yourself questions just on your own free time, they're free downloadable reading guides for all 3. And I am in the process, after some much loving cajoling by some friends. So this happens in real life. I am in the process of starting my very own author newsletter. So that will be in the works before the holidays. Probably be putting out how you can subscribe to it in the next week or so. So if you follow me on Twitter or Instagram, you'll see those notifications. And I see Jennifer is asking if there's going to be another book in the series. And I would say that I am in negotiations right now. So fingers crossed. But certainly talking with Harlequin about extending the series, and hope to have that out to a bookstore near you sometime soon.
I love it. I love it. And I definitely want to share. I know Tiffany was saying that that Darby have great boxing concepts. Guys, let me just tell you, yes. With the Shoe Diary, she had these cute boxes. With the other book, Bloom Where You're Planted. She had these beautiful rose petals, guys. And this one, let me just tell you, we got some tea in the red phone book. Look, we got our boarding pass, didn't we, Erica?
Yes.
As well. Look, guys, we got London Calling, a sticker. She just does the cutest, she just does the cutest book boxes as well. So when I saw that Tiffany said that, I was like, yes, I have to definitely shout that out. That Darby. Guys, when she have her theme, she goes all in. Okay, she goes all in. So definitely make sure that you are following Darby Baham, guys, and all the places that you can follow her as well. This book, guys, as well as all of Darby books, let me just tell you, you're gonna get all the feels. Okay, you're gonna laugh. There may be some emotional moments in there as well, but it is a good read. It is a page turner that will just keep you at the edge of your seats, guys. Go out and get London Calling. Of course, if you are watching on YouTube, or if you are watching here on Facebook, thank you so much for sending the stars on Facebook. It's always appreciative when you guys send stars as well. Of course, if you're watching the replay, thank you so much for watching the replay. And I definitely have to say thank you to author Darby Baham for hanging out with us and having tea and spilling a little bit of tea about London Calling. Erica Cartledge, thank you so much. And guess what, Erica, girl, anytime, come hang out with us on Tea Time. I do feel like there was a connection, and I done made a new friend. First of all, guys, she loves reading Darby Baham books, and she loves shoes and fashion. I'm with you. I am with you. And make sure that you are following her as well, boys and girls. That's our show. That's Tea Time on today. As we always say, guys, have an amazing day, because I'm having an amazing day. Of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Angela Anderson YouTube channel. Follow me on social media. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Feel free to follow me at any of those places and come out and hang out with us again as we have tea and discuss some amazing books. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.